The reason I started to blog, I realised that the photos that I were taking were kind of almost like a diary of what was happening in my life, sort of day to day, and I just thought it would make sense to actually document the things that I was doing and put a little bit of write-up with each of the images, because sometimes an image can just be an image, and sometimes the story can help you understand the image a little bit more. Personally, it's opened up a lot of friendships with people who've contacted me via the blog regarding photos and my experiences, and wanting to know little bits of information about some of the people that I've photographed, because it's predominantly people. Professionally, I've actually picked up a lot of sort of work with some advertising agencies, private companies, private individuals. I've been hired to do sort of portrait photography, little bits of reportage and advertising content for some big companies, so it's really helped. I did have a website running for about 12 months, and I actually worked out that I was getting a lot more hits to the blog and through all my social media, so took the website down. It didn't really seem to make much sense to have one and pay for something that didn't work, and the blog was a lot more effective in communicating, and because I updated it sort of, if not every day, every week or every month, it was sort of more interactive with the people who were sort of interested in following the photos. From the blog, I normally receive sort of very good feedback. Usually it's people inquiring about particular images, either how I've done something, or they'll put a little write-up which I'll then publish about sort of what the photos mean to them. Occasionally you do get sort of negative comments. It's not usually about the photography, it's more about the people that I'm taking photographs of. But all of the content that I publish on the blog is, it comes to my email first, so nothing negative about how somebody looks is ever going to come across. It would be something that I would just edit out straight away. But I do have a content manager on there, so if somebody sends a message through about a particular photo, I see it first, agree to publish it, and then publish it. Yes and no. The blog tends to reflect what I'm doing with my photography. If I've been busy with work, sort of, I work full time and I shoot sort of for commercial purposes on my days off from my full-time job. If I'm busy, if I've got a lot on, it tends to be a little bit slower with how much I publish, and sometimes I kind of stock up a selection of images which I'll then publish over a period of time. If I'm feeling a little bit uninspired, the blog tends to be a little bit slower than usual. If there's a lot going on, I'm taking photographs that I'm very interested in, I tend to blog quite heavily. Sometimes I might blog once a month, sometimes I might blog every other day. It just really depends on how inspired I am being out with the camera. If somebody goes onto the blog and they sort of like what they see, or they don't like, or they have a question that they want to ask, they can send it sort of directly through to me. Usually when somebody interacts and sends something through, I always sort of reply to it, whether it's a sort of a private email or it's a comment that I post about their comment on the blog. But yeah, it's quite easy. I've got share options on the images in the blog post, so people can put things on RSS feeds, and you know, they can use Twitter and Facebook and things like that. So it's pretty easy. I tend to find that most of the blogs that I see from the northeast are quite specialised. You've got particular people with particular interests, whether it be music or photography or fashion, and they tend to blog about what they know. For some reason, there aren't a lot of blogs that I can find in the northeast. There are a few which are sort of a daily photo blog, but it's usually the same thing every day. Like, here's a bridge, here's the castle, here's the quayside at night. It's difficult. There's so much on the internet, it's sometimes quite difficult to find what you actually really like. So it's kind of knowing where to look. So yeah, I think they're kind of a mixed bag, really. With regards to promoting the blog, I tend to use my personal sort of Facebook page, Twitter. I've got a Facebook page which is set up for just particularly my photos, and I also put backlinks on from Flickr So I can see through my blog where the hits come from, whether they come from mobile devices, whether they come from Facebook, Twitter. Friends who are photographers, quite often, if they like what I do, they link it onto their page, or they share it out through their Facebook and Twitter. Tends to be very, very well connected. There's a lot of links to find the actual blog, so the more I post and the more links that go out and the more people that I know who sort of share what I do, more people will find it. And a lot of the images now rank on sort of Google quite high up, so that goes back to the blog and then people start reading it that way.